there. Welcome to another episode of the Diary of a Wellness Bodybuilder. I'm IFBB Wellness Pro Sumaya Sarwar, your host, and today we are going to be talking about all things abs. How do we get abs? Let's dive into it. When we are at a higher body fat percentage, our abs are not going to be visible. Does that mean we don't have abs? No, of course not. We all have abs. Those are the muscles that are in our body surrounding our core, right? But number one thing is your body fat percentage is going to dictate if your abs are visible or not. So the saying that goes that abs are made in the kitchen, that is very much true. There's no way around it. So you have to be in a calorie deficit for your abs to be visible, for you to quote unquote have abs. One of the things I would say is many females like myself, when we're bulking or we're not at a low body fat percentage, our face just blows up. Our midsection looks super big and out of proportion, but genetics does play a role in it, right? So some other people may have abs even when they're at super high calorie surplus. So be mindful of that. Don't be so hard on yourself if your abs are not visible. For me personally, my lower abs are the hardest to come in. I don't see them up until like maybe 4 weeks out from a show. Right now, I'm about 16 weeks out from competing in New York Pro. My upper abs are somewhat starting to be visible, but that's only when I'm like standing up. When I sit down, you literally like see blocks of like a little mini 4-pack going on. Obliques, on the other hand, they're visible on me, even when I'm bulking, thankfully. So it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. I have learned to embrace my body during every different phase. So that's what I would recommend. Don't get discouraged. Until you go into a calorie deficit, your abs may not be visible. Now, the second thing I would say to get abs, or a snatched waist, like many of us females want, start doing stomach vacuums. That is an exercise that I really swear by. I do that all year around when I'm bulking, when I'm cutting, whatever it may be, do some stomach vacuums. If you need help doing them, I have videos on how to do them on my social media platforms and especially on YouTube. I have long form videos, so go check that out, and I'm here to help. Do the stomach vacuums. Me personally, I do first thing in the morning, empty stomach, like after maybe I've had my morning coffee and some water. I like to do my stomach vacuums before eating any food, like before having breakfast. Reason being, I feel like I'm able to contract my abdominal muscles a lot better before eating food versus after eating food. It just kind of gets a little expanded and bloated. So I tend to do 10 sets till failure. It's going to be different from person to person. If you've never done an exercise, it's going to feel weird. You may not be able to get the form proper in the first try. Like for me, I started incorporating stomach vacuums back in 2019-ish. But honestly, I didn't even do them correctly and all the way how I should be doing them up until my 2021 wellness debut prep. So if you can't fully engage your core and pull your belly button up and back towards your spine, into your chest cavity, that's totally fine. At least try to contract your ab muscles and hold it as if you're doing plank. That way you are doing some sort of abdominal hold, even if you're not able to do a full-blown stomach vacuums. That's totally fine. When I started out, I was only able to hold it for maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Now I can hold it up until like 120 seconds, which is pretty good. There's also different ways of doing that. Some people prefer doing the stomach vacuums laying flat on their back. Some people prefer to do that like standing up. For me, I prefer doing the exercise standing upright. So look into different forms and different ways of doing the exercise. Try it out, see which one you like the best, which one you're able to contract your abs the best. And it's kind of like a trial and error, like everything else in life. That's what I can say. After that, I would say my third tip on getting abs is be sure to use your core during every single exercise that you do. If you do an exercise properly, whether that's squatting, hip thrusting, deadlifting, lat pull down, whatever you're doing, upper body, lower body, you should be able to brace your core. And when you're doing that, you're already working your abs. There's been times during my bulk that I wasn't specifically doing anything other than just bracing my core during my workouts and doing my stomach vacuums. But then when I started cutting down for a show, that's when I started throwing in some other like ab exercises specific to abs. So you can do the same thing, because when you're bulking, you're not necessarily seeing the abs, right? But you're still lifting heavy, as you should be, because you're eating more, you're at a calorie surplus. So that's a really great opportunity to brace your core, use your core when you're doing the hip thrust, when you're doing the squats and you have to push the weight back up. So that would be a very good way of training your abs. Now, the fourth tip is obviously when it's time, or when you're looking to more have definition on your abs, or even sometimes when you're bulking. Some people do that. Like at one point I had a specific day just focused on my calves and my abs. That was like my rest day / touch-up day. That's when I would come and do like about 3 to 4 exercises specifically for my abs. So if you want, the fourth tip would be to incorporate something like that. Have abs specifically into your training protocol, into your training split. For some people like myself, I am currently doing abs at the end of my upper body days. Since my upper body days are not that hectic, it kind of feels like a weighted cardio competing in the wellness division. The leg days are what kills me, but the upper body days, I will take that any day. So that's what I tend to do. So what I do currently is at the end of my upper body workout, I pick 2 exercises for abs. I like to target the upper ab and then the lower ab. So for example, for upper ab, maybe I will do rope crunches. And then for lower ab, maybe I'll do hanging leg raises. And then I add plank to it. So that's like 3 exercises. And I do them back to back till failure for about like 3 sets, like a circuit. And that is it. And I end up training upper body twice a week. So every time I'm training my upper body, I finish the workout with that solid ab routine. Now, I don't necessarily do the same ab exercises every time I'm doing the ab circuit, but I make sure that I am picking one exercise to target my upper abs, one exercise to target my lower ab, and then plank is sort of like the non-negotiable. I always do the plank. So get creative and do that. And sometimes maybe instead of doing lower abs, you can throw something in to target your obliques. But I would say that's like the last advice I would give. I'm not saying it's not necessary or don't train it or anything, but the very first thing I would recommend are the first 3 tips that I said. Keep that in mind. Genetics plays a role, body fat plays a role, where you're at in your fitness journey and how much you're doing when it comes to stomach vacuums and actually utilizing your core during other lifts plays a role. And then the ab routine plays a role too. So it's all these pieces that add up to the puzzle. Overall, I would say just be patient with yourself and train it just like every other muscle. And you're gonna be able to see the definition when your body fat is low enough. So that is my advice. I hope you found this episode useful. Be sure to like, share, comments. Let me know what you'd like to hear from me next. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.